अभी अभी आपका गाना देखा है and how do you create this magic on screen?
When something just stays, but it should obviously be good enough for you to be interested in it for a longer time. We work towards that kind of a location, we work towards that kind of a look and that kind of casting to bring the freshness to you.
The day of your shoot, which is the day you have to perform. अभी तो जान गए उनको, उनके साथ टाइम बिता दिया, सब पूछ लिया. What is that day like? What is he like?
I've grown up watching his films. I had an idea of what he'd probably be like from what I've watched of his work. But
the world loves Diljit. What is he doing? He's like narrating the story and recreating this.
A grandfather who's 95 years old, that is played by Nasir, and a grandson, that is Nirvair, who has come to see his grandfather's last few days, and that is played by Diljit.
Everybody wants to do an Imtiaz Ali film, but what is it like when you actually go on a set?
Honestly, this was just laughing.
Answer with honestly, you can't expect honesty.
You know what? Why don't you take this? I'm already.
No.
I'll cut the honestly.
No. Honestly.
इम्तियाज वेदांग शर्वरी, वेलकम टू बॉलीवुड हंगामा. मैंने अभी अभी आपका गाना देखा है एंड आई जस्ट डोंट अंडरस्टैंड हाउ यू क्रिएट दिस. इट्स द सिंप्लिसिटी दैट्स सो ब्यूटीफुल, यू नो. फूल है, दो एक्टर्स हैं ब्यूटीफुल और सिंपल क्लोथ्स, फील्ड. हाउ डू यू क्रिएट दिस मैजिक ऑन स्क्रीन, इम्तियाज, film after film?
Well, I don't know. Thank you very much. It seems you've liked it. I remember the Pope has said that cinema must support slow narratives. You know? And I feel that when that happens, because everything is in so much of a rush, that when something just stays, but it should obviously be good enough for you to be interested in it for a longer time.
Right.
So also we were depicting the past, where so many things that are available today, the rush, the buzz was in a different way. So I'm glad we work towards that kind of a location, we work towards that kind of a look and that kind of casting to bring the freshness to you.
Right. You know, so many questions for both of you, but first I want to ask you that जब आप ये सब शूट कर रहे हो, that time there's so much happening on a set. Today when you see your song, what is the first feeling? What goes through you inside?
I think it's a weird feeling as an actor to watch something that you've been part of, because the first initial reaction is not very objective.
Okay.
I think it ends up being like, अच्छा हम वहाँ पे थे, अच्छा हम उस टाइम पे क्या फील कर रहे थे, अच्छा वो शॉट ऐसे दिख रहा है. So it becomes very, you know, you're not really objective about it.
About it.
Yeah, you're kind of related to your own memories of the time of the shoot, etc. But I mean, we are not, actually we are the worst judge. We look at it and we're like, okay, ये ऐसा था, अच्छा ये ऐसे कटा है, okay. So the first initial thing is just that much, you know, as lame as that. Yeah, I'm not able to objectively analyze it. But I mean, I knew the song and how that felt when we were shooting it, and that was always something that was special. And what we were doing felt special at the time. I think hopefully it's translated.
Right. What about you when you see it?
Honestly, I get very excited in such
you
times.
Should, yeah.
And I think that it also leaves me with like a lot of warmth, honestly, because I feel like I know that you see one take of each shot, but we end up doing a lot more. And especially with songs, I really enjoy shooting songs, whether that is dance or any form of, you know, like the kind of song that we have, there's very little dance in it. There are lots of moments, lots of emotions. Something about songs just speaks a lot to me, and I think that I've always enjoyed shooting it. So when I watch something like that, I get very excited. And especially this song, I don't know, it just felt like a big, tight, warm hug, because the location was such. It's a time and era that we have never lived. We got to live and breathe a certain timeline that I've never imagined before. So I think that for me was exciting, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed for it.
That's the best part about an actor's job. You get to live in times, you get to live characters. Amazing. इम्तियाज, मैं ना 365 days इंटरव्यू करता हूँ, मैं रोज आपका नाम सुनता हूँ एक्टर्स से. मैं एंड में लास्ट क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ आपको किसके साथ काम करना है, और आपका नाम रोज आता है. हाउ डू यू डू योर कास्टिंग? बिकॉज आई कुडंट हैव इमेजिन्ड हिम एज अ सरदार जी. She looks amazing, but I don't know. So many thoughts while casting your main lead. What is on your mind? How did you do this casting?
Yeah, I feel that it's an instinctive process for sure. Most of the scripts that I cast have been written by me. So while I'm writing, there is like a ghost of an image of a person. You know, it's like a person without a face maybe, but the characteristic or the vibe of that person is very clear to me. So when I meet a person, when I meet actors, I'm looking for suitability. I'm looking for a vibe match, so to speak.
Right. And to both of you, this is the obvious question that everybody will ask you, that everybody wants to do a Imtiaz Ali film, but what is it like when you actually go on a set? Say your first day with him, what is that like? What did you imagine and what was it like?
Honestly, this was just laughing. Honestly, I think it is a dream come true, and it is.
When somebody starts a question, answer with honestly. You can't expect honesty.
You know what? Why don't you take this? I'm already.
No. Go on.
I'll cut the honestly.
Honestly, it's a dream come true.
Right.
And I have said this in my previous interviews as well, that I wanted to work with Imtiaz sir. And I think, and it's also, as an actor, I think that I've always been very hungry to work with directors who shape actors, and I think that his films have always done that. There are so many nuanced performances for a reason, because there are emotions and depths and just feelings that he understands sometimes very differently, or sees them very differently from how you would probably perceive it in like your script. So I think the first interaction, more than on set, I would say, was when we started our readings, and when I could finally like pick his mind and try and understand what he sees for Jia, what is the world like. That gave me the most insight. Also the way he sees Punjab as a land, because I feel like that's a different love story of its own. and actually Vedang and I, both of us, went for the recce of this film with Imtiaz sir. We wanted to spend as much time with him, with the crew, and also be able to see this place from his lens, which was very important for us as like young actors to kind of understand this land, so that really was the most fun interaction, I feel. We also one day hijacked Imtiaz sir in our car when we were driving like this long journey of 3-4 hours, and we asked him so many questions that we thought that we were interviewing him for the film. Actually, we would have put the recorder on, you all would have gotten all your answers. Like, we asked him, how did you think of this film? Why did you think of this film? After the end of the 4-hour journey, we really didn't think he wanted to sit with us in the car.
Yeah, we were really like, okay, we'll get into this car with him, and we're just going to it's privileged to get this time with him. We'll ask as much as possible.
Well, reporters at heart.
So we really, picked his brain that day, and we asked a lot of questions. So he was fried after.
Right. But tell me, the day of your shoot, which is the day you have to perform. Abhi to jaan gaye unko, unke sath time bita diya, sab pooch liya. What is that day like? What is he like when you all are rolling?
He's the type of director. I mean, obviously, you have an impression of who Imtiaz Ali is, right? So I've grown up watching his films. I had an idea of what he'd probably be like from what I've watched of his work. But I think it was actually, truly, it surpassed all of those expectations. He really, and I'm really saying this, he really enables the actor in the best way possible. He has, even with the kind of direction he gives, the instructions he gives. Also, what I'd like to mention is he's an actor himself.
I was just going to say that, I swear.
Which really makes a difference.
He can act and show you.
Really, he can. So that really makes a difference in how a director directs, because maybe sometimes to show the effect of what he wants, he's able to really show it himself.
That's amazing.
And he
Do I
does
do
it
that? Do I actually?
Yeah, sometimes you would do that, or sometimes even while reading something, you would read it in a certain way that nudges us in the right direction.
Okay.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
so helpful
which
for
is-
an actor, right?
Yeah, but he directs like, I mean, as if I've done some lot of films, but he directs like no other, like
Right.
truly.
Correct.
I mean, I remember this one time, there was this shot, and it said something like Keenu is the character that I'm playing in the film. Keenu lies down on the mattress and he looks up at the ceiling. So that was kind of it. But I remember the shot was set up and I come there and I lie down on the mattress and then he comes to me. Shot, everything is ready, but he wants to give me some sort of instruction before. And we talk for, I think, 15 minutes. And he just fills me in. Nothing to do with tum aise dekho and aise look to. This is not the kind of director he is. He would just take those 10-15 minutes and he would talk about what you must have seen in this time, what you must be going through, how you're feeling, and just, anecdotes from the partition, anecdotes of what people at that time must have gone through. And then he said, okay, now lie down on the mattress and look up at the ceiling.
Wow. He's leading you to that.
And that, I still get goosebumps thinking about that.
Wow.
Because it wasn't about what he wanted it to look like. He wanted to fill an actor up with these thoughts.
Wow.
And I think that's the best. I can't ask for anything more.
That's amazing. Lucky you. Imtiaz, ours is the last generation that will hear partition stories from the horse's mouth. We have all grown up with grandmothers and fathers and mothers with that. I'm glad you're keeping this alive in some way or the other. I know it's not about the partition, but it's great that these things keep coming. Of course, you all wrote this story. Where did the germ come from? Where did the idea come from?
Firstly, I'd like to say that the reason for making this film now is precisely that this is the last standing generation of people that have gone through partition.
Yes.
And so it was very important for us to make this film now, to say that there is a lot of love that they carried in their hearts when they crossed the border, There have been movies about violence and, there are movies that are heavy based on the partition. But there is also so much love that they have carried. In fact, now that 78 years have happened after partition, most of the people that I met, the survivors, they only talk about the love. They talk about tender things. They have perhaps forgotten the heaviness. All of that has gone from their minds. You would relate to it,
Absolutely. Yeah.
They remember their friends. They remember that tree in their yard.
Yeah. Right.
They remember the certain doll that they wanted to carry.
Right.
Things like that. So I feel that to talk about that is important.
Yeah. So true. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
ultimately what sustains us is these loving memories that we hold almost like a secret in our hearts.
Yeah, that's
so the film is a bit like that.
Amazing. What he said, I grew up with a grandmother who came exactly like that. And not once I remember one story which was about negativity, about any venom, anything. They just said, oh, हमारे पास ये था, अभी हमारे पास ये है. Nothing negative like you're saying. So what you're saying is actually we've seen.
And there are so many people in our country.
Yeah.
There are so many families.
Yeah.
I feel that migration anyways is the biggest story of the century.
Correct.
But more than that, for our country, it's like you take a look at the people in the room and ask where their grandfathers and grandmothers were, and you will just find the fact that all of us have migrated and nobody comes happily.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and everybody when they come, they carry their love in their hearts.
Absolutely. What did you guys get to know that you didn't know about it?
Oh, so when we went for our recce, we decided to go to the Partition Museum. So this is a trip that we decided to do, and this was your second time, and actually Sharvari was the one who said, you should also do this with me again. And we spent 4.5, 5 hours, I feel like, that day at the Partition Museum. And that experience was really something, because at the museum you have, anecdotes of people who have actually, done the migration, who've left their homes and come. And, those train rides and all those horrid experiences, and the way they talk about it, the way they talk about things that happened, decades ago. And they still speak with so much vulnerability and emotion, and that was really life-changing. I think that was an important experience that we went through, and I think it also as an actor, I felt some sort of responsibility. Of course, to be working in an Imtiaz Ali film, that responsibility, but the responsibility of, you know, playing a person from this time and kind of being, you know, for people who've been through this to see this and to see this character in person, I felt some sort of responsibility with that. And this experience really helped us.
Right. What did you learn that you didn't know?
Honestly, for me, I think the first thing was that when I read this, I mean, when Imtiaz sir told me about the film, I actually went on a trip to Punjab with my mom, only because I wanted to see what the land is like, what is the food, what are the people, how do they speak, everything. I was just this curious student, and I have this, every time I hear something that I have little knowledge of, I try to kind of get as much knowledge as I can. So, and I've always loved history also. So for me, it was, so I went with my mom to the Partition Museum for the first time, and there were so many things I didn't know. And that, of course, upset me a little bit, because it's our history, you know. And of course, while I was watching every video and I was really taking my time through the Partition Museum, I kind of forgot that I was really prepping for a film, or I was here because of a certain reason. I really started just getting involved in what the emotion was really, what they were saying, and the kind of feelings that they went through at that time. So I actually went in to do the research. I think I came out more I forgot that I was actually doing a film, and I went in for a research. I forgot that completely, and which is why when I actually told Vedang, I realized that, you know what, I actually need to go back again and prep for the film and really actually study the characters versus just get involved in the story of it. But of course, the fact that our film also covers so much about what I didn't know, and I'm so glad that it does in the way that Sir has written, is because it's important for every generation to just know, you know. Absolutely. What you feel about it is a very different thing, but I feel like just the knowledge of it is important because it is such an important part of our history, that I'm glad that we made a film like this, and more so, which also is about love, you know, like you rightly said, that at the end of the day, love is at its core.
Right. You know,
but also I have to say that how crazy it is that Sharvari, who we cast in this role, without telling me, I didn't even know that she's gone, with her mother. I don't know how cajoled her mother to go. And then they went on this solo trip, with each other. And they went to Amritsar, and they went to other places, and they went to the Partition Museum. Next time I met her, she already knew much more than she had the previous time. And then when we actually went to Punjab, she said, I had come here before. Almost as though I'm embarrassed and sorry about telling you this. I wasn't supposed to. But how crazy it is. And I feel that to be able to contribute something, you know, I think the responsibility is also to the people that come to the theatre to watch the film. Why will they come if there is no nectar, if there is nothing that you can offer them?
It's great when actors given that much. It's amazing, right? आपको कुछ पता लगा ये story के बारे में while writing and directing? Did you know, did you get to know something you didn't know?
Lots of things. I mean, if you look at the history of that time, it's almost like absurd theatre.
Right.
It's like a stand-up comic show going on. You know, and there are so many details about Partition which are very funny, you know, very ridiculous that things would have happened in this way. And also about people, and also about this thing that, you know, I've realized that how people lose memory. You know, they lose the earliest parts last. They forget the recent times first, you know. And but they never forget what they did in their childhood or in their youth. So that is such a beautiful thing, I feel. That the earliest memories are the last to leave you. In fact, there are many old people who came from Punjab, and I met many survivors of Partition to write this. Almost everything that is in the film is somebody's aap-beeti. It has happened to somebody. तो उन लोगों से मिलके मुझे ये लगा कि now 78 years later, so I'm meeting them when they are what, like 80s, 90s. They only remember those things, कि वो वहाँ पर वो पेड़ है, उसमें ऐसा फूल होता है, उसमें ऐसे जब बेर गिरते हैं तो उस सीजन में मैं जाता हूँ उसको तोड़ने के लिए, इस तरह की बातें. They have not forgotten. Sometimes they've forgotten their children also. So this is a very beautiful thing. And then I realized that these things are actually their constant companions also.
Right. Yeah.
They're constantly thinking about those things through their lives. That's why they remember.
Right. Everything around small things must be so frivolous because they've gone through so much.
Yeah.
It's really something. Tell us, the world loves Diljit. What is he doing? What is he, from the trailer, from what we've seen in the teaser, we can make out he's like narrating the story and recreating this. Can you tell us something?
No, it's actually, he might have the longest part in the film.
Okay.
And I've actually asked someone to tell me exactly what the length of each character is, because this is the first time in my film also where there are 4 actors.
Yes.
And so there are 2 time eras in the film.
Okay.
Right. I think that's quite evident from the trailer and everything else. So there's a present and a past. So there is a grandfather who's 95 years old, that is played by Nasir, and a grandson, that is Nirvair, who has come to see his grandfather's last few days, and that is played by Diljit. This very ADHD generation, who's not supposed to be interested in what happened 5 minutes back, gets into a process of figuring out what happened 78 years back. Because this ADHD generation is also the Google search generation. So things that Diljit's character's father didn't know, Iqbal didn't know, he found out. Because his grandfather used to mumble things and it seemed as though he has an incomplete wish. So it is actually the film, so to speak, the story of Kinu and Jia and all happened to him. He discovers it through the brain of his grandfather.
Wow.
So it's like he's actually seeing the film. The film is happening to him, and how it affects him in the present time is actually the basis, the way the story is written.
Wow.
That it's why is it relevant today? Something happened in the past, nice, but is it prevalent? Is it relevant to a guy who's living today and who's dealing with his situations, who is dealing with things which all of us are dealing with in the present time, especially the youth? It makes a difference to him, is the important thing. The course of Nirvair, that is Diljit's character, changes when he discovers what happened with his grandfather.
Wow.
So that's what it's about.
Nice. And what a beautiful name. Nirvair is such a beautiful name. Do you all personally like self-discovery stories? And do you also agree there are less of these being made?
Yeah, I think I really always enjoy kind of coming of age, which is a topic he's tackled, I feel, really well.
Yeah.
I guess self-discovery is, you as a human, you're always in the process of that. So I think I've witnessed it on film and I think I enjoy it. But I don't know about, the number of how many of these are being made or not. But I think if it's done well, I'd really enjoy watching it.
Right. Does it do self-discovery stories make you think?
Yeah, of course. I think every kind of cinema makes you think. But of course, like he said, self-discovery is something that we're all going through at every age. And it just never stops. So it's definitely something, it's a genre that you really do resonate with, because you almost, in most times in some scenes, in some songs, somewhere you feel like you felt this, or you've been through this. Even when we talk about a film which is about love and longing, or where do you really belong, I feel like this emotion really is, even like if you take it to a grassroots level, it's even like students who go away from home, to study. And I feel like whether that is like something that happened in history, whether that happens to young kids today who just go out to study at universities or in schools, it's the same feeling. It's the feeling of home, where do you belong. It's that. So I feel like films like these will resonate with people across generations, where in some moments and places we hope that they feel like that in some ways they're being represented, or a feeling of theirs is being represented.
Right. I just have 2-3 more questions. One is about your music. Your music is something people wait for as much as they wait for your film. So what was in mind, because this is also like a period film, it has 2 timelines.
We had very good singers in this film. One of them is with us right now.
Okay. Wow.
So,
Interesting.
so you should check out Vedang singing this song.
Yeah, I got an opportunity to sing for Rahman sir, which is, I mean, I have no words for this. I don't know where this thought came up. I just remember I was sitting right here. The room looked very different at that time. But I was sitting right here and he called me, I think we had a meeting or something, and he called me to this room and he was working on something with Hiral, who works with Rahman sir. And he said, do you sing or would you like to sing? Said,
No, I knew that you do sing.
Yeah, I think you had an idea.
Yeah, but I'd never heard.
Yeah, but he said, I think Hiral said, just try singing these lines. And I think I sang it and I guess they were satisfied with whatever happened at that time. And that very day they said, Acha, by 11:30 would you like to come to Rahman sir's studio? I said, I don't know if I'm ready. If I'm being honest. Because Rahman sir be there. Yeah. Luckily or whatever, he was not. So it was just Hiral managing it. So I had the liberty of trying it a couple of times. But I think it came out really well.
Yeah, we were all very impressed.
And even then I remember this passing thought of like, Acha, abhi Rahman sir sunenge aur phir wo decision lenge. And I was like, okay, fine, theek hai.
Secretly praying. Ki.
Of course, secretly praying, but I was acting all cool about it.
No, you weren't.
I know, whatever.
No, you
whatever Rahman
weren't.
sir feels,
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I mean, I was really. Did I tell you this? Yeah, I was like, please, I hope this happens, because till the day I didn't really have an idea. Anyways, but what an honor, what a privilege to be doing this. This is like, and I started as a singer. It was probably my first pull towards performing arts. During school and college, I would always sing, and my dream would be, one day I'd sing on stage, and as a kid. So to be able to do this for Rahman sir in an Imtiaz Ali film is really a dream come true.
Right.
And it's a little part of the song, but it's a take on the bucket list.
It is a cycle. Actors used to sing earlier also, and so it's coming back maybe.
Yeah, I love it when actors sing actually.
Right.
And next film we'll try Shadwari.
Please don't. You heard me sing on the BTS videos, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, I was asking for your music fans, what should they expect in this album? This is a very unusual one.
The time, musically, the time of the 40s was very different from how we imagine it. We think it was very desi. We think it was only like folk and desi. It was not. It was very westernized. So that's a new thing that I think this film explores in terms of music. Because that time, remember that undivided India was a part of the British Empire.
Correct.
So the influence musically and film-wise and styling, everything, if you see the old songs and the old heroines, they actually look like, in a way like how Shadwari looks. Except for that, those guys used to be more made up. Right. We tried to make a natural-looking film. So there was a lot of westernization in society, which I'm excited to actually showcase in this film.
True. Lastly, if three of you could go back in time to any period in your life and just to observe a day or relive a day, what day would you like to live? Which year, where were you?
Wow.
That's a really tough question.
Yeah.
Just a day.
Yeah, just.
I'd like to be exactly here. Let's say in the 1940s.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
What Bombay would have been. And how difficult. I would be in a swamp right now.
Yeah, that's
I'd
true.
be underwater.
Yeah, right.
No, I think, I feel like the 40s, but also the 60s. I feel like that is always an era that's excited me. I think just the culture and I don't know, something about that time, the rock and roll, and that era is really exciting to me.
Right.
Strangely, the first thing that came to my mind was really not an era. It's like the most simple answer. But just if back in time, if you would say, I would really, you have like vague memories of your childhood, but I really would wish to go back in just like my old house in my hall with my parents watching like any regular Sunday. I would just love that because I feel like I know what that feels like. I don't know what it looks like. You know, and I wish that I'm able to like maybe just be there for a day and just see what it looks like.
Right, those are the most priceless times, right? You know, I can go on and on, but y'all have more interviews also, so I will leave and can't wait for this, Imtiaz. And y'all are looking amazing from whatever I've seen. This film gives you that feel, so can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Imtiaz, so much.